Hello, hi, welcome back to more live stream game development. This is Kevin from RetroNeo Games, making Sons of Saul in Unity. Felt like I had to do more of a complete intro this time because... Wait, that's a typo. Because it's been 10 days since our last stream. Not that I didn't announce it or anything, but we were at Reboot Develop, or I was anyway. The other two weren't at that conference. But I'm the only one live streaming, so what are you worried? So it's at the Reboot Develop conference in Croatia, in Dubrovnik, for the last, it was 6 nights away. It's pretty much 7 full days I was gone for. So missed 2 streams, I do 2 a week. And I would have missed today as well. I have to be out later. Normally it's 8 p.m. stream. But I figured to just change the time today instead of missing 3 in a row. So what were we doing last time? Made a build for Reboot, and we're fixing some bugs on the way. Simple enough. Since the last time, that was a Monday, flew out to Reboot on the Wednesday morning, very early. So on the Tuesday, basically, the rest of the Monday and the Tuesday, I fixed more bugs. I won't get too heavily into that. Then Reboot Develop Conference was pretty awesome. It's in its 4th year. Gorgeous location. Near Dubrovnik. It's about 10 miles away from Dubrovnik, which they filmed Game of Thrones and the new Star Wars. There's some filming done there, so it's becoming very expensive compared to what it used to be. I was never there before, but I heard it was very cheap and good value, and now it's just insane money. But the conference itself was very good value. Met a lot of cool people, pretty small. Met pretty much anyone. Anyone who's at it, you could kind of find them, talk to them at the bar. Very, very good for networking. Very small and personal kind of way. And a few of their better talks are on Twitch on the Reboot Develop channel if you want to check them out. No, I have it right here. I'll tell you which ones were good that I saw. Here we are. This is the program, and Cliff Krasinski gave a very good talk, and that's on Twitch. So did Kiki Wolfkill, but I haven't seen that talk yet. I'm going to check that out tonight probably. She's from 343 Industries and has been a big part of EA and stuff. Guy made Total Annihilation, Chris Taylor, that's on Twitch. Tim Kane. They didn't Twitch everything. They didn't stream everything, which is sort of a pity, but they're not quite at GDC level where everything goes to the vaults and you can catch it later, but a lot of the best stuff was, so. And Patrice Desilets, I think I'm saying that right. The G2A. If you've been following game industry news at all, you'll have seen that G2A was interviewed at this conference, and he made no friends there anyway. That's on Twitch. They're kind of, the videos haven't been divided up yet. It's kind of like a 4-hour stream, and there's 3 talks in the middle of it, but with huge dead time, like 2 hours between streams. Fast forward. Or click forward, whatever. And there's a few others. There's the opening ceremony was from Crow Team's lead, Alan Ledovac. I'm not that great with Eastern European names, but he gave a very good talk as well. I think I've covered all the Twitched ones anyway. And there were some great talks that weren't Twitched. Anyway. Now we can get to some work. So what we're going to do today is we go through the feedback that I got from demoing all 3 days of the conference in the indie space there. So I saw some talks, but I was also on the desk and missed a lot of talks. So I'm going to go through some of the feedback and just kind of, if you're an experienced dev, you might not care about the technique here, but if you're less experienced, sort of taking examining the feedback, seeing what's really being said, and saying, is that really a problem? Are we going to have that fixed anyway? Or is the suggestion really just trying to fix a different problem, and you got to examine it quite critically? Might be a couple of things we can fix quickly. And we have a new destroyed shuttle sprite. So previously when the shuttle blew up, it just, same way as these fighters did, just broke into little triangles with sprite slicer 2D. And the triangles blew apart. And it looks fine on the fighters, but on the bigger shuttle it looks like there should be a lot more to the shuttle because it's a lot bigger. Bring it on screen real quick. So it's that size, so there should be a little more to it when it explodes. So we got that to try. So we'll look at the feedback first and then get to the shuttle later. Did I bring in the destroyed shuttle sprite yet? No, I didn't. Well, I'll have to import that, but that'll only take a second. Okay, so feedback I was taking down in... sort of took it down on my phone or on paper, and now I've just transferred it to a doc. So for this particular build, feedback that I got on it, ellipses in text. It's from Dave McCabe, who's the writer on Dark Side Detective, which is about to be released. He's a friend of mine. We kind of went together, hung out together, but when he played it, he's like quite critical of the fact that in the fungus text in places, we can actually change this pretty quickly. Yeah, sending coordinates now, and I've sort of left 2 dots, and he's like, I should either make it 3 dots or 1 dot. It's gotta be. So okay, 3 dots. Something we can actually, change pretty quickly. We just have to look at the blue one, see if I left any dots. I know I didn't use too many, but you to check through. 3 there, so it's just being 2 here, just kind of being inconsistent. So this is a dead simple one to kind of fix. While it was inconsistent, I think I was mostly going for 2. Okay. About 1/3 of the way through now already. Only concerned with the blue. This is fungus. If you've missed earlier episodes, we're looking at the fungus plugin. So blue stuff is what will actually appear on screen. The red are things like wait or call a method, or and I call the method and spawn enemies in that way. Full only doesn't do anything. Oh no, sorry, it does. I think it's a... yeah, it does. It loops back until the condition is fulfilled. Yeah, actually, I think I've mostly been going with 2 dots. I don't know. I'm not a video game writer yet, I guess. I guess once the game's published, I am. Because I'll have written it. More of a blogger, and I tend to write as I would speak, rather than perfectly. Write pretty well. Like I'll do the right grammar and spelling, know how to spell there, and there. It's I know the rules, but I break them a bit. Not spelling. There's no point getting that wrong. Once you know how to get it right, there's no point getting it wrong. But just in terms of punctuation, I tend to break the rules a bit more. Right, so actually converted. Dave will be happy with that. He's at a maze right now in Berlin. So send him a message, and or someone can tweet him, Dave McCabe, and tell him that we got the ellipses in. So that's done already. Something else that he said was, actually others kind of said this, dodging the asteroids feels fun. That's, good positive feedback. Go to the test scene just to show. We sort of let's see. So when you dodge, you do it kind of on the spot. Play for the first time, it tends to be a bit slow. Right, dodging is kind of on the spot, or if you're traveling forward, it's still relatively on the spot. And like dodging the asteroids, I'm told, feels fun. That's good. But they're sort of like, can you dodge? You can strafe a bit. Not insanely useful. And it's a little, if you're traveling forward, like if you're holding forward and you try strafe, it's a little less powerful than if you release forward and start strafing. So there's no real reason for that other than how it's coded and how I've coded your max speed. And in space there wouldn't be a max speed, so it's a bit of a weird, well, the speed of light if you want, but for these short distance purposes, you should be able to just keep accelerating, beyond this speed, whereas I've kind of capped it at your max. And instead of letting you get faster by strafing and going forward, I've had to slow it down just to keep everything within the play area and basically not break Unity by letting you just infinitely get too far away. Well, not break Unity, but sort of wind up with floating point errors after half an hour of, and I haven't timed how long it would take, but after just getting too far away. So anyway, there's a max speed that shouldn't really be there in the sense that we're otherwise being pretty physically realistic, but sort of makes the strafing less useful. So actually the controls at the moment, pretty much every button does something at the moment, almost, and the ones that don't, I sort of have plans for what they will do. Now, so I have strafing on the shoulder buttons. That's my 360 controller. So not the triggers, but the shoulder buttons do strafe left and right. But this never really feels like there's any need to use them. They feel a bit out of the way. I think I will switch those up to probably just take out strafing. So we were talking about when you dodge, currently B is dodge. You can see it on the screen or in front of you there. We're talking about if you we're not using this stick at all yet. So if you tilt that left, that you would dodge and strafe over to the left at the same time. That's something we're considering, but it doesn't seem, because you don't need to get around the asteroid, you can just pass over it with there doesn't seem to be any point to really strafe to the left when you can just strafe over. So if we were to do that with the stick, like where strafe forward like does you in a loop-the-loop and strafe backward turns you the other way like real quick and does that, sends you back the other direction, and if left hops you over to the left much quicker than this, but put you that way, and right put you over this way a lot quicker. We'd be kind of cheating on the physics more than we already are. There's like slight cheats on it in terms of how fast the ship actually turns, and like that afterburner is a little too much G-forces for the pilot, but not like 10 times too much. It's just like 1.5 times too much force that the pilot could take. So like kind of going with the "it's a game" excuse, because it needs to feel okay, and that's more important than the physical realism. At least depends what kind of game you're going for. Going kind of for a sim, but it doesn't look like a sim, so it's got to get some of. Kind of need to be able to get what you expect out of the look of this game before we let it be a sim. Bit of compromise. Getting all these warnings. I think I removed some animator stuff. See, what's that on actually? So anyway, with that feedback to do with dodging left and right, it's something we were already kind of considering. I'm going to redo the movement stuff anyway to make it that the strafe is always as powerful, but then it'll result in the strafe being always powerful whether you're accelerating or not, because it just should be a bit of a rework on it. But we might even take out the strafe buttons, but that's just going to be a side effect of doing something else, basically. So there's our feedback, but dodging to the left or right might be fun. Yes, it might be fun, but it would break physics more than I think I'm willing to do. Might try it out, but definitely not a priority, right? So I'm gonna leave that there for a bit. Characters, are they spawning here? Yeah. No, there's nothing. Sorry, there's nothing I can do about this. But just a bit of feedback was that the characters kind of looked like what one person said is that they look like they kind of belong in a different game to what this all belongs in. No, that's just, I'm not changing the art or anything. So that's just, I suppose feedback I'll pass on to the team. There's not much to be done about it. And there's only one person that said that, but it is just, in terms of sharing the feedback, it's worth keeping in mind what people say and seeing how many times it gets repeated, you know? Be doing work. Okay. Okay, good. So I'm trying to see what was complaining about the animator. So something still has an animator on it. I did a job of removing a lot of animations that it wasn't using. Where was that happening? I don't know. Not getting it now, so won't worry about that. More feedback is... Yeah, okay, so this one piece is something I get a lot. The example. If I travel forward, pretty obvious we're going forward because you can see that ship, the one that's under us, the big one. Now in the demo, you spend a lot of time on your own, so I'm going to turn them off. And the asteroids aren't spawning. Just turn off the... That'll stop it. So it's obvious enough that we're moving because of that. And maximize the screen. The asteroids in the distance are... I feel they're pretty clear that you're... You know, they're static, so they're traveling to the right as I move to the left. Seems obvious enough. I've got these trails, which are faint enough, but the trails are showing where you've been. Be obvious enough. Now that I'm going to the right, the asteroids behind are passing to the left. The big planets shouldn't really be visibly moving much. If you see, I'm leaving the mouse on this little moon here. It is actually moving. See, the mouse cursor is getting further and further away from that planet. So it's actually... I haven't got a parallax script. It's actually placed in 3D. It's gigantic and placed way back. And I had to change how far the mask or the camera culls objects. But that's just a giant planet, right? And it is moving. Same with this one. But people have said that they feel that they're not moving because the planets aren't moving. Now there's an element of this is sort of a hardcore space game in terms of its science and that, so I'm not going to put the planet like right here and let it drift off like in a, I don't know, like a kid's space game or probably a mobile space game. You just be way too casual for this. I think the physical realism is... It's not even that real. It's probably 100 times smaller than it ought to be. I think I'm still faking a bit of parallax just to keep it moving, but any different to this felt like too unrealistic for the realistic tone we're trying to go with physics and bullets and all of that. So I actually have to get well outside the play space to for those planets to start getting off screen. Anyway, play space isn't defined, it's just I made the grid very big and we went outside it, but there's nothing to stop you. Should probably make it an infinitely large grid. Let it keep looping, but right now it's just one. Doesn't really matter, I'm not going to change that now. So without the cargo transport being on, found that people were having trouble. The camera kind of, as I'm going to go forward, so I'm going to head up the screen, and the camera sort of moves ahead of you so that you can see further in front of you. But that results in your ship getting lower on the screen, and some people are having a problem with basically, right now I'm stopped, and they think they press forward and they see themselves move down the screen and they're like, oh, why am I moving backwards? And I don't see this at all, but I've heard it far more than once. So part of it is a problem with like where we were demoing is a very bright room, so it's going to depend on what screen you're looking at this on. But if you're in a dark room right now, you're going to very easily see these dust particles that are kind of just hanging there, and you pass by them. If you go up the screen, they're coming down against you the other way. You can probably make them out, but in the room we were demoing in, it was very hard to make out. It was kind of bright on the screen, so you could make out the yellow stuff. The background was harder to see. The asteroids are harder to see. The dust and the trails were harder to see. And people could see these planet outlines pretty well because the outlines are bright, but they weren't moving, so they said there's no sense of movement. So this is quite a problematic one, in that I've done a lot, like make the dust particles huge and add trail renderers and all that. Try the giant sound gizmos. To try get the impression of movement, and it's helped. I get the complaint less, but I still get it. I think that everyone's been playing the same level, right? So they've been playing this one. You start on your own. There's no ship near you, and you just start moving, and they're like, "Oh, I'm moving down, or I'm not." Now, if we started with the big ship underneath you, which doesn't make sense for the kind of story we're doing in this particular mission, the demo mission. But if we started with that big ship there, I think no one would really have the problem. It's pretty obvious you're going forward, you're going backwards. Or up and down, I should say, whatever. Did I just pass through that? I did. I passed under that. It's on the same level as us, so a little strange. I should never place the cargo ships at 0 height, because the containers are a little below, and then I'm passing over the containers but under the beam. Anyway. It looks okay, actually, because it's very fast. Yeah. So I could put a different starting object near the start. Particularly if, like, the demo level isn't going to stay, so I don't need to worry about fixing the demo level forever. I can... It's more likely that we'll start missions with you sort of flying out of the hangar of something. It's quite possible that most missions would start like this. Hang on. It moved. Start like this, and you just sort of fly out of the hangar, and then it's pretty clear which way you're moving. So as long as people have a starting reference, I don't think that'll be a problem. But it is a problem I get a lot with the demo. So nothing I'm going to do about that right now, but I think it'll solve itself to a degree. Also, it is sort of a niche space game, and I think a lot of the people the people who have said, "Oh, I love this. It's like Asteroids," or "I've wanted to play another game kind of like Wing Commander for a long time, just a space game with a campaign." They've never complained about the movement. Funny enough, they just seem to have gotten it straight away. And so it is space game fans that are target market, if you will. So the people, when you go to an expo or something, you could get any sort of person playing it. It's not just all your audience. So when they say they've problem guessing what the movement is, they're probably not used to the idea of space games. They're looking at more casual twin stick shooters, and they put a planet right under you and you fly right past the planet, and it's very unrealistic, but it gives you the proper sense of movement. And that's not the kind of game we are, so that might be the kind of expectation they bring to the table. So it's a kind of thing where you're like, oh, get this. It's a very interesting one because we get this complaint a lot. Not like from everybody, but probably I hear it every time I demo from at least somebody. So it is a significant one, but it's also not necessarily problematic for our audience. And it might be fixed anyway by the way we set up our missions, where you fly out of a hangar. And once you're used to the movement of if you play the first mission and you fly out of a hangar, and the second mission you don't fly out of a hangar, you still kind of, what you're looking at from having played that first mission anyway. So while it's a problem in a 5-minute demo, I don't think it really will be a problem. So I think it's one of those ones that we're just going to leave. Keep an eye on it because it's mentioned so much, but I think we're just going to leave it alone, at least for now. Okay, next one. UI when on a keyboard could be a list instead of radial. Get rid of what I did. So if I'm using the gamepad right now. I'm gonna go the orders list, and the radial thing. It makes sense. You point the stick towards what you want. It's pretty common in AAA anyway at the moment, and I don't think it's really a problem for anyone. Could use a bit of polish in that if we're not holding the stick, it kind of selects nothing. But it's kind of fine. If using the keyboard, on the keyboard, I basically give you the same thing, and I'm using the arrow keys to move it around, and it works. But if I'm on the keyboard, I could very easily just go, instead of a radial menu, it might be more efficient to go option 1, option 2, and have the number 1 and 2, and you press 1 for option 1, 2 for option 2, and then you have 1, 2, 3, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're in a list form instead of a radial form. Because here it's not that bad because I'm using left and right to turn if I'm on the keyboard, and then if I go to the orders, I'm using left and right to do the exact same kind of idea. I don't think it's a problem, but it's not one I'm going to prioritize. There's plenty else to do. It's not a major thing, but it's kind of a polish level thing maybe, where it might be better to keep in mind that the keyboard could just be a list where the buttons control what option you're on. Hey Guy on Twitch, long time no speak. How are you? Welcome back. Thanks for coming back. I've been a prodigal streamer. It feels like, anyway. Missed a full week there. I only did 2 or 3 before that, and I missed a full week before that for other. Yeah, it was on regular holidays, and last week was on conference holidays, and then next Thursday. Yeah, so I only have this one on Monday, and then I'm gone for another 2 streams. Then I think I'm back for the rest of the year, as far as I can tell, but for like 3 weeks on, off in a row, making the streaming schedule a bit weird. I'm very well, thanks, Guy. Had a great conference. good. Spent 2 days in Dubrovnik after it just to explore city walls and things. King's Landing. Game of Thrones fans would know it as. I don't watch it, so I don't get it. But there's so many references around there, and it's like I don't get it. I don't get it. Although a lot of Game of Thrones stuff is just a meme at this stage, so like Shame and Hold the Door and all these. So when people were like, "Those are the Shame steps," I figured they meant it was where something in the show was filmed, and yeah, they're very large, steep steps. Figured they were important. But yeah, there are loads of Game of Thrones walking tours actually, and like, no, I don't want to pay you way more money to go on the Game of Thrones version of the walking tour when I won't even get it. Anyway, it's a good trip though. What are we doing? Yeah, just that the UI could be different for the keyboard, but I think it's working at the moment, so it's just sort of a this might be better if you've time kind of thing. Right now I do not have time. Something I could definitely do though. Okay. Again, to do with the orders. The next few are all to do with the order system. So if we want to order the wingman to cover you, the first thing to do is press the radio button. That's one action, gotta pick squadron. It's 2 actions, pick which members, that's 3 actions, and then pick the orders. 4 actions. Now obviously I have to turn on the radio, right? Well, I suppose if I really simplified it, I could just assign that button to be cover me all the time, but then I don't have the options of what other things to do, you know, like send one guy back to base or whatever. So I think we're pretty good here, but let me do it again. But this first one is choose between squadron or support powers, and at the moment I've kind of none. There's a null reference on that at the moment, but it's send an extraction vehicle, basically retreat and get picked up. Where is that? We can get rid of that. I was trying to remove animators. Did I remove the hints one? I remember thinking, no, I don't want to remove the hints one, but I guess I did. So remove the references to it. No, I don't want to. I won't do that yet. I do want hints to exist. Reference was missing. That's what it was. If we can fix that. Or is it assigned? Sorry, it was just catching up on itself. Public animator on the subtitles script. Subtitles script. Okay. Lock screen here and try find the hints animator. No animator on it now. Might have taken it off and not meant to. Oh wait, no, sorry. Bring this inspector over here a second. I've locked that one. I want to look on the other one. No animator on that. Long time since I set it up. Well, I guess we did get rid of it. Okay. It is gone now anyway, might as well remove it from the code. Does it still work? Basically I don't use the old hint system now, but there's still a hint reference to say extraction is unavailable. So
negative.
Yeah, so that didn't. I don't know if you can hear that. But she says negative.
Negative.
So that's fine. There's no broken code or anything. All right, so we fixed that. Apply that back. Oh, no, I don't need to. Yeah, the prefab didn't change, so I don't need to apply anything. I just changed the code a little bit. Okay, we are doing all right. And we at 40 minutes so far. Wait, I don't need to say about. OBS tells me exactly 38 minutes. Okay. I'm used to looking at the system clock instead of the actual streaming OBS clock. I'm more used to that. Okay, so what I was saying about the orders is that when I'm pressing up to get this option, up could just go directly to here, squadron. And instead of going up, down to get to these support powers, which would be things like send reinforcements, send extraction, for argument's sake, like call in an artillery strike or a bombing run. Not exact artillery, but like a flak cannon kind of strike on an area, which may or may not make it into the game, but that it's under the list of things that would be on this support powers thing, hypothetically. So if pressing up got you directly to here, then you'd save a step, and this would just be a bit quicker. It'd be like, here, all members and form up, and just be that much quicker. And then if pressing down got you directly to here, and you had those other orders, that's a legitimate improvement probably, because not necessarily down, but it doesn't matter really. The D up button right there. See that? Yep. D up, buttons. You're watching this, you know how gamepad works. So sorry, D-pad up brings this, but down is already kind of taken for the advanced dialogue button, like in the demo. Goes demo. So in the demo, the D down button does. You have to wait 8 seconds and I show you. Advances the dialogue like this. There's flashing D-pad down there. So it's already taken, but left and right aren't taken. So it could kind of go that left will bring you to here. That might take a little bit of rework, but well, it will take a bit of rework, obviously. I think it's quite doable. Let me come back to it. Embolden that. Grey out non-essential UI in the tutorials is quite a good one. Advance this a little. This will also take a little bit of rework, but I think it'll improve the demo. It's a very good suggestion. If I just do that, then you get this tutorial about how to order your wingmen, right? The other thing about skipping a layer of that is I might have to change this GIF Might not, to be honest. Oh, actually, I could just extract the frames that have. Yeah, there's only 2 or 3 frames that have the first part of that menu. So here until there, very short number of frames. I could just take them out. The background craft would jump a little bit, but they're already a bit jumpy, so might not matter. So I could do it without too much pain. But anyway, this is our longest tutorial in terms of text, and it's not ideal, but it won't be in the main game. It's just trying to get people through the demo, show them what it's about. So you have that, and it's showing you exactly which options to pick, and that's fine. But then you get to here, and you're like, oh, what was it again? And maybe that one. And then people are like, should I? And then sometimes they order just this guy, and they're like, oh god, which one of these was it? And it does say cover me, and if you pick the wrong one, I don't even let you tell them to return to base. They say negative, we're staying with you, and that's specifically written into the demo in case you try to send them to base before you've ordered them to cover you. And then this person reminds you, boss, order us to cover you when you're ready to move out. So you're like, oh. And she'll keep doing that until you get it. So you're like, oh yeah, orders. Cover me, you say? Oh, that one. Then we can get on with it. But a very good suggestion is to keep that one gold and make that one grey. Then keep that and that grey and make that one gold. It'll actually work if you order any of them, but ideally you want to order all. Then grey out all of those and keep that one gold, so that you're guided towards the right option. Just for the demo. Again, it's hard to justify wasting time on demo polish to a degree, but I suppose you need a polished demo to get people through it. Give them a good impression for one thing. So it's a bit of a waste of time because you're not building the game, you're building just this throwaway demo, but it's, again, gives people a better impression. And so the easy to do feedback is quite worth considering anyway. Alright, so here are okay. So here are all the bit of background on that. These are all the options when you mouse over one, it goes white, or when you controller over one. The duplicate. So I want to get another layer and kind of gray them all out. So let me just see if I go. I want just the top layer. A good way to do that is, I mean, in paint.net rather than Photoshop or anything. Canvas size, if I just shrink it from the top, height goes to 102. Select that. Place it kind of perfectly though. But I can paste it in now. So I think if I now found the canvas size to be 306, going down. Get rid of that white area. No, not like that. Reduce the tolerance. I don't want to select anything beyond the rectangle. But it's going to do it anyway. Alright, well, it's not a problem. I can actually just put it in on a new. Okay, so we're going to make a new one instead of adding it to the old one. This asset be assets, images. Where is it in folder wise? It's in UI. Okay, images main UI. Don't need that one. We'll leave it alone. Images main UI. and it's, or what was it called? Instead of black and white, just say grey. Okay. Now I realize they're not grey, but can take the color out of it by doing that. Pretty simple. Now save that. No, sorry, we're not saving this one. Close that one. Don't save that. Okay. To give this the same properties as the other one, so it's multiple, 64. Size, clamp, dry linear, none. Right, editor, how many? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11. So we will slice it up by cell count, 11 columns. That's fine, apply. So now we have our buttons, basically. So this is just for the demo level. I think the best way to do this. So when the demo starts, the radial menu will be with its correct buttons. So then, on the first couple of frames, we can swap out. Actually, I won't do it on the first couple of frames. I'll do it once the wingmen appear. Swap out all the gold ones I don't want for grey ones. Then once the order is given, successfully swap them all back to their originals. So need to redo them. Do I need to do them individually? I think I do. Oh, this might be a problem actually, because they aren't actually in the scene or the hierarchy. They kind of come in. I think they're created. A radial option prefab is created when the option comes in. It's a little more complicated. I now remember. Best way. Alright. Got the bars left and right, and the guide arrow, which can move around. And then you've got your options. So it's the option sprites that have to change, I guess. I'm guessing that the image is set when it's spawned, if I remember correctly. Selected option.myIcon. There's environmental icons. Yeah, okay, so I could swap out. This is a scriptable object, so I think at runtime, yeah, I could swap the image. This points towards, the gold image. Like extraction icon, that's the gold one. Extraction icon, highlighted is the white one. So I could put in gray versions of them, but then this gets longer and is only used for the demo. Or I could put the new icons just in the demo script, which I'd rather do. Then I have to change them here from the demo script, which I could do as long as I make sure that when I disable, they go back to the old script. I guess that's the way I'll do it. Those things I don't need. Okay, stuff. I need them public a little bit. I can't remember which way. I think Gray is the UK English spelling, and A with an E, and AY is the American, I think. I got confused once I started working with a guy called Philip Gray, and he spelled with an AY. I think, yeah, AY, and that's the American way to spell the color gray. Yeah, so that's the correct way I should spell that, I guess. Alright, so what's that called again? Icons script. So that's the icons script table object. And then I guess all the ones I need to swap are images. So I guess I'll get a list of them. So I need to keep track of what the original one was. The ones I want to gray out is, first one is, what's it called? Support image, and then a sprite for the original support image. So that's what I'll restore. Then an image for arrow 2 UI image. Oh, this won't work with it. No, okay, I don't need this part of it. Alright, so this does need to be public, so I'm going to put a header in and divide it off from the rest. Radial buttons gray. So I was going to just find that in code, but I guess I might as well make it public now since we're going public. Let's say public sprite for the gray support image. Yeah, okay. Then a public right for the arrow to radial. Well, it's not. I shouldn't say image because it's not icon, not image. Just to be clear. Original arrow to radial icon. Same with arrow 3. And this is where I have 4 orders that I don't need. Boring part. So form up icon. But they should all read gray, shouldn't they? Gray fallback icon. Gray return to base icon. Gray engage at will icon. Original form up icon. Sprite fall back icon. Not the fun part, but original RTB icon and original engage icon. Okay. That was so boring. Okay. Down the bottom, I'm just gonna add restore scriptable object icons. So what I don't like about this approach is that I'm actually changing the scriptable object, and once I leave play mode, it's still going to be changed unless I change them back. So what do we call it? Icons scriptable object dot that's how I want to do it. That's a sprite. Sprite. Let me just go back a sec. Better remember to use all of those. On disable, I'm going to say restore, just in case, you know, we quit the game without completing the tutorial, then I want to restore them anyway, just whenever we turn off this script. Weird about this. Okay, port icon equals that. scriptable object dot spider arrow. Oh yeah. We actually don't need arrow 1 and arrow 2. Original. I don't need arrow 3. Form up icon. Fallback. Done. Base icon. Gauge at will icon. So nothing will have changed yet. Important to realize. Put in the public references and stuff. Okay, so here is the scriptable object. There, the gray support icon. Now let's block this for a sec. White. Okay, so the support icon was that one. Not sure how clearly you can see this, like, it's a bit unclear to me as well. Sure. Oh, hang on, maybe I am actually. Yeah, because all 2, 3, so maybe I do need to get rid of 2 and 3. And what are we doing on time? We're at an hour. Alright, hopefully it'll just be another 5 minutes with this. All ships, 2 icon, 3 icon. Okay, so that's. Where's the fighter arrow icon? Huh. Oh, okay. So what I've done is kind of targeted the image for the actual ship itself rather than an icon for UI. 2 and 3 icon is what I need to change instead. Three, this is going to be 2. Two, 3. 7, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Three icons, original 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sprites. Okay, right. Now we're more correct. Wait to compile. Alright, now we can go back and get this right. Um, let's do here. No, sorry, that's all. That's 3. Yep. Next one is form up, which is like this. It's form up, cover me, all back, turn to base, engage at will. Form up first. Go for me. Oh no, we want the cover me ones. That's the one we're not using. All back is that one. Looking very closely at the screen. Return to base. That one. Engage. That one. Okay. In there. So now at start time, I have to get the references to all those. Because right now there is no. That's not assigned yet. Oh. Could do it in on enable. Make a new function. I feel like I'm carrying around that copy paste stuff. Okay. Need to sort of shift how these are going. Just turn them to the opposite side. Yep. For each. So now I'm saying the original support icon is the one that you'll find currently on the scriptable object. Oh. Yep. Okay, so now when we start, we call this and we get all the original sprites, and when we either stop playing or whatever, we store by going back to the script and changing what the support icon is to this, which is what we just set there when it started. So I think now we ensure that nothing gets broken. And now it just needs to be when we reach the wingman, I think. Or actually, it should be after the wingman tutorial. I have the word tutorial in here a lot. Cover me tutorial. Specific. Cover me tutorial. Okay, so here's where we should change those icons out. Copy this, but we're gonna use the gray icons. Gray support icon. Okay. Gray 2 icon. Gray 3 icon. Gray form up icon. Gray fall back icon. You can see this takes like probably half an hour to do. It's quite a good suggestion though. And I'm just sort of might get one thing wrong. I didn't change, like if I dragged the icon to the wrong place when we were just assigning the icons by dragging them in a minute ago. If I did that in the wrong place somewhere, it'll just be something I have to fix quickly, but I'm pretty sure it can make this work easily. It's not going to break things. So it's not like a risky one to try, and a half an hour is kind of worth it, I think, for this. So where do we... If rail active... Where do we know that it's ordered wingman into position? So this is where, if we get the order correct, I want to set everything back to valid gold colors. Alright, that was a lot. Let's see if it worked. I clicked pause. I'm waiting for it to play. I clicked pause instead of play. Okay. So right now everything is valid, okay? Those are our icons. Now the tutorial comes up, so now, I think exactly now, the icons should have changed in our scriptable object. Prove that. Improve it in a second by checking, but yeah. No, wait, sorry, is it still locked? Yeah, so now some of them have become the gray icons. And if I just stop playing, they should all go back. Yeah, they seem to be in order as well. You'll see them all change to gray now in a second once the pop-up comes up. Okay, they're gray. So... That kind of looks like the bottom one is selected, doesn't it? Let's see. Alright, so... Not really a... Oh, that didn't work. Did it? They're not gray. Warm up icon is the gray icon, but it's showing me a gold icon. Anyway, now they should be all gold. Right, so a couple of things about this. The grey looks a bit too much like white, for one thing. I'm just going to change these to actually be darker, but also transparent. remember where you find transparency on this. Okay. Like that. Now it should be more clear that they're kind of, don't pick this because it's very much like, ignore me, and yeah. Yeah, I think that's more like what we intended. Though it's not, it hasn't worked over here. Even though they are listed, fallback icon should be the gray icon. Why didn't it work there? So the option comes in. So the icon is set from this script. Port icon. Quadrant works. Icon is, get this, but if we are in the, if we've picked first wingman or all wingmen or second wing, if we've picked this, then port equals assign the commands to each option is where we're getting the icons. So if we're on the open a channel, it's the first one. Icon, it is getting the right support icon because it's grayed out here. Else if we're in the squadron screen, it was getting it was getting the correct ones here. The radial options I. This is kind of the line we're concerned with, or something like it. Okay. Else if we're here. Right, so I haven't assigned lines in the same way as I did in above. So they're looking for orders icon. I need to reassign what orders icons is. Okay. So when I change the icons, I also need to change this. Radio menu instance orders icons. do it. Radio menu dot instance dot orders icons. So when we restore them, I kind of need to go. Actually, we'll see if it just works. I think I'll need to sort of restore them here as well. Oh, we're almost there. And I'm happy I got the right color. I think at first it didn't look like it was actually that helpful, but yeah, not yet. Need to do this first. That looks pretty grayed out, I think. Pretty obvious that you're not meant to pick them. Okay, that didn't work. I wonder if point it towards the one we changed. They're meant to be the same one. The tools and the demo are kind of both pointing to the same icon's scriptable object. That, no. Oh, yeah, I'm in the wrong place. That is why. Or I guess it should be right after that instead of above it. I'm entirely sure why I used an array. I'm not exactly thinking about it right now. This thing. Okay, there we go. Pretty clear. Now that it's done, go back in here. It's okay. I think I might have to reassign. Yes, I'll have to reassign it after. But no, that basically worked. So the restore. Time are we at? Might not have time to do much with the shuttle. Let's see though. Yeah, skip this. That. Port, fine. Fine. Good. If I just ignore that and come back in, it's still set up correctly, yes. Cover me. So now should be fine. Got all options, all options, all options.
Yes, sir.
Not gonna go wrong again. But quit, I guess it's correct. If I play it again and quit in the middle. Yeah. The only thing I'm unsure of is if the editor crashes. I think it'd be fine for the game as well in a build. I'm not sure if the editor crashes while playing, while those are on grey. Not sure if they'd still be grey when I came back in and I'd have to reassign them, but to be honest, I have a Git backup. I can just revert the changes, guard the changes, so it'll be fine. Okay, so I'm happy with that one. I remember what exact shade of green I'd used there. That looks about right. More transparency on the black-eyed orders. Pretty simple one. When I bring up the orders, if we're kind of floating around, this is very dark, and you're meant to be able to see a bit of what's going on behind you, so it's just a bit too dark. Actually, it's hard-coded, so it's... Yeah, let's just make it a quarter from black, from pure black. Let's bring it closer to clear. Even still be too dark. Right, 4. The idea being, I could pause the game entirely when we go to orders, but you're meant to be able to be like, here, asteroid. Oh no, I'm getting closer to that asteroid, I better pick stuff quick. Or just quit the orders and dodge. So if you're on orders, you kind of tap B to get out of it. Go back and then dodge. 4 is, I don't know, I might just try a little darker again. No, 4 is pretty good. Try 3-5. Had people playing the demo kind of talking to me while in the orders menu, and they're like, what am I hitting? Am I dying right now? And didn't realize they were hitting asteroids while... Actually, I think 4 was okay. So that was a very simple bit of feedback, just make it not as dark when you're giving the orders. Darken the contrast on the background planets. Was an artist gave me that advice. So I don't think it's the planets themselves. I think she's referring to the halo. Unity doesn't have a contrast thing, though. I mean, this is... It draws the eye more than it should for a background element, I think. So just kind of talking about just... Yeah, that would be very... Not sure where exactly to put that. I think I would let Fred just make the call on that, and usually does make the call on these. I just tend to adjust it, and he's like, that's too much, and then or too little, and now it looks like background's just all green. Oh, that's alpha. Meant to be in brightness, not alpha. Like, the sun doesn't look like the sun now, so the sun should probably be fairly bright. There, but the flare be darker. Yeah. I will leave it to Fred, I think, to just pick values for that if he thinks they need them. I'll sort of pass the feedback on. Alright, so here's a bit of we're on pretty much done. Feel like I can crash into the big ships, but you don't. So well, let's just play it from here. Picking a checkpoint to play from. Oh, okay. So the way the mission goes, they're flying along looking for this wreck, and then what I see a lot of people do is, well, they start shooting and they're like, oh, and what happened? And then they test out shooting the thing. They're not yet reading the text, and they're like, oh, doesn't look like this was impact damage. Look, it's most of the, like, it's clearly not non-threatening. The music hasn't turned threatening. Not that anyone could hear the music at the demo space, but I've just seen it a lot. That people sort of be flying along. They'd get a bit of an early warning on the radar in the top left if they were looking, but even I don't look at it that much. Well, when I play the demo, I guess I know what I'm expecting, so I don't look at it. But they like see this and like, oh, I'm gonna crash, and they, oh, I didn't crash. So, I mean, I don't think that matters as feedback. They're like, oh, I thought I'd crash into the ship and I didn't. Is that, you know, what do you want to do about that? You know, you can add, you could start the mission and, not from there, but you could, you know, when you start the level, you could be like, hey, before you play, just so you know, the only things you can collide with are asteroids and bullets. You should press dodge. Or do you just let them realize that they can't hit the ship by playing and not hitting the ship? You know, I think very much the latter is the right answer. And unless we had, might be the kind of thing you put in a game manual or on the loading screen tips. But it's not the kind of thing I'm going to put text into the demo, like further pause the demo. There's already a lot of pausing in the demo to explain some things. If I was going to add anything else, I would add something about the missiles, because most people don't realize there's missiles, and I don't have a tutorial for the missiles because I'm like, they're already trying to pick up too much in 10 minutes. If they see the word missiles on the screen and they figure out, oh, how would I use missiles, and they're smart enough to, I think people figure this out at home and they don't really figure it out in the demo. But they're like, oh, missiles, I see the word missiles, how would I get missiles? And they start pressing things and they might be like, oh, no target. Maybe that's for missiles. Or they might go to the controls. Maybe I'm just an older gamer. Does anyone look at the controls or customize controls anymore? Or at least young people? Missiles. Why? Easy. So I'm not going to bother explaining that. These worked fine. Where are we? Yeah, so basically that's the second last thing. I'm not going to do anything about that feedback. The gameplay pretty much reveals that you don't crash into things other than asteroids. The asteroids, well, it's always obvious that you're going to crash into bullets. It's a given. The asteroids now show up red if you're about to crash into them, so that's obvious enough. And you don't crash into anything else, so you don't really need to be told that something won't happen. You get me? The very last bit of feedback. Why the first enemy has a waypoint when later ones don't. Quite valid. So originally the first enemy was just comes in and you'll see a trail in the background coming up. The text is saying there's a pirate coming, there's trail going up there. Then he's on your radar, but there was no target icon originally. So they're like, oh, he's going off the screen and I don't know where he is because I don't know to look at this. Like, you haven't been trained to look at this, but it's there if you want it. If you're playing for more than a couple of minutes, you'll figure it out that it's there. But this sort of target made it pretty obvious that, you know, there's someone over there. And now, he used to get further away. He used to be kind of worse at getting close to you. Now he's faster. So he can kind of stay on screen more easily as long as you're not afterburning away from him. We could get rid of it. Like, we don't have a method to target ships other than with the missile, but don't have it like in the old space games. You'd constantly be like, kill someone. Okay, now press usually the OR key for target nearest enemy. So he's got that target on him, sort of. It just indicates where he is. In my mind, it's in my mind and in the code, it's a search and destroy version of the waypoint. The other waypoints are the movement waypoints. Like this one. That's a movement waypoint up there. The one with the target is a search and destroy one. The objective right then was to destroy him. I think it's fine. Like later in the mission there's more pirates and we don't put targets on them. Could do. Not entirely sure how to treat that one. No one in the chat at the moment, I think, to contribute. You know, it's valid. If I put the words up next to it, search and destroy, that would be, you know, helpful. Or at least it would remove confusion about why that one had a waypoint and the other ones didn't. But only one person has said this, right? Plenty more people said I couldn't tell where that first enemy went once he was off the screen. So this feedback kind of doesn't, taking away that waypoint doesn't outweigh the reasons I put it in yet. So sort of listen out for feedback on that more. I think it's the right answer for that feedback. And just see if it's causing a problem. What's more, I don't really plan to allow you to target enemies because there's no reason to. In 3D space, it was good to be like, he's up there, so you know, turn that way. In this, they're clearly on your screen, like if they're anywhere close to you, and if they're not close to you, you have a radar that's pretty fair in terms of how it displays where enemies are coming from. Like, it's not cluttering the screen with UI arrows everywhere, which I don't want, but all the information is up in the corner. All you have to do is glance at it. And yeah, we could make it way more obvious, but I don't like having a game like Assassin's Creed or something. I can't remember who was making this point, but proper, you know, one of the more experienced game developers of the world, like I can't remember, was it a Warren Spector talk or something like that, where they're just like, you could kind of play Assassin's Creed or a lot of modern AAA stuff without any graphics or models, just following the UI arrows. All you have to do is get to them, then it tells you to press Y, and you press Y. And then you complete the cutscene, and then you do it again, go to the next UI. You can play the entire game with UI. And I don't like that. For one thing, it clutters the screen. For another thing, it makes the actual graphics and the actual models pretty trivial if you're only looking for UI directions on what to do. You don't have to interact with, you know, you're meant to be a fighter pilot. You should interact with your ship's radar, not just be told they're here, here, and here. You should look at the radar and kind of figure out they are there, there, and there, but you know, have to actually work for it. like, yes, it's a bit harder, but the point is to actually challenge that. It's meant to be, skill based, challenging. Don't want to play the entire game with UI. They want to be able to. Health bars is another thing. Like, they're pretty standard. Fred made originally. I didn't want to have any, and then because you can display health basically by letting smoke come off someone and setting them on fire. Like, he's nearly dead. You don't necessarily need to show that he has 1 hit point out of 5 left, but it's a pretty standard thing to do. So at the moment, we've both systems. It displays the health and it displays fire. You don't need both. You only need one or the other in terms of letting the player know what's going on. You don't need both. We have both. Is it wasteful? The flames are kind of better for engagement and polish and that, but the UI does the job. Could do without the UI though. The health bar UI. So we're more in favor of getting rid of UI. So I don't think targeting multiple craft, like here's a blip for an enemy over there, here's a blip for an enemy over here. I'd rather just keep it up here, blip, 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 and you figure out that they're here, here, and here. I don't know. Tell me if that sounds fair or not. Your answers in the comments below. I'm in danger of sounding like a real YouTuber someday. Okay, so we're at 1 hour and 45. What have we done today? We have not yet looked at destroying the shuttle, so I'll leave that there. I'll put the feedback on the last time, because now I'm thinking about next time. Destroying the shuttle. Okay, what'll I do? I'm gonna throw up a hidey screen while I look through my files to find the graphic I'm actually after. Is it? Very cool destroyed version of the shuttle. So I guess this is what we'll do. Actually, I could. I'm not sure if I want to leave it till Monday. It'd be a good thing to do next Monday, but I might just do it and show it. Sorry, I'm aware that the screen is now gone and I haven't saying things, just looking for the file. Don't want to show off my entire computer. Don't really know why. I have the I see the file in Slack. I'm just trying to find where I downloaded it to. Inconvenient on Slack when you download a PNG. Sort of, it downloads it once, and then if you move the file, it doesn't seem to let you download it again that I can see. It does if it's a Dropbox file. That helped me. I'm going to use the Windows 10 Start menu search function. The one that always tells you there's no results. We're getting there. We're getting there. Very annoying. Open the file on Dropbox. Was a very hidden UI icon for opening it on Dropbox. Downloading it fresh. Oh, now I think I remember where I put it, but too late anyway. Okay, but showing again. In ships. Alright, so what we've got is a destroyed version of the player team shuttle. Destroyed turret, destroyed sides, main body, and the sensors on the front. Now you could flip everything except the sensors actually works kind of left or right, very symmetrical. Yeah, I think we can blow it up left or right pretty safely. Just to vary it so it's not the same destroyed hull every time. Pretty much going to wrap the stream up now without coding in a new destroyed shuttle, but go in. Don't save. I'm going to import it basically and sort of leave it there. Or trilinear. No. I think we were going to switch back to bilinear actually. Ask Fred again. So the shuttle has how many? 5 sprites, yeah. Droid version, sprite editor, slice by cell count, 5 rows. Okay, so just to show what we will do. Actually, because I'm pretty much going to show it now, I'm just not going to do it now. It'll take a few more minutes. Off. Turn on the shuttle. Currently not on my side. Get a pirate shuttle instead, so it'll come out blue, but I only have the destroyed graphic in yellow right now. Shit. Meant to be not quite, maybe not necessarily a mini boss, but certainly a heavy. So he destroys like that. Not that satisfying, not that realistic. What we want to do. Now let's just say we're talking about the gold one again. No, wrong one. Oh, it's too big. I think you drew it at the wrong scale then. Oh, wrong one. Or did I just import it at the wrong scale? It's a little larger. Or is it just actually higher? Oh yeah, he's down 1. Let me bring him up 1. Yeah, he's definitely larger. Should that have happened? Scale was he drawn at? Yeah, no, somewhere awkwardly in between. Oh wait, is that my fault? 1600. How tall this is. No, that should be fine. Max size 2048. 1600. No, I think it's just drawn to a different scale. Okay, well, so then I can't exactly use one. Well, it's only a temp version anyway. But if I could perfectly size that, it would be a case of we destroy the healthy, sorry, disappear the healthy sprite, sort of lay an explosion up on it. Then while the explosion's kind of covering it, swap the sprite to this one, blow off a bit of debris, just generic grey kind of debris. Then the explosion fades, the smoke fades, you've got this thing tumbling around. We could... it's the whole point was that we couldn't explode it the same way as the fighters because it was kind of too big to look good. We could, explode it again and just fully disappear it. Maybe with some more generic grey debris, but I think what I would do with this is just let it float off. And if you don't follow it and it's off the screen for 8 seconds like the other debris, I'll just get rid of it. And if you do follow it, it'll persist forever as long as you're following it. No point in doing it, but I don't want to disappear it if you're right there. Alternatively, or not alternative, but a parallel kind of option is to shrink it, like not shrink it even, but just start dropping it into the background. So eventually it'll just get very small, then it can disappear it. But if we drop it into the background, it'll mean that the player will be able to see it for a very long time. Because if you're here and you go over here, you probably won't see it. But if you start dropping that straight down and you go over here, you will actually see it below you. It'll start kind of coming in that way. That might not be the right answer. Yeah. Actually, wide is this? 480 wide. The other one is 192 wide. Two and a half times too large. A weird number. An oddly specific number, though. I'll have to ask Fred what it was drawn to. Okay, well, you get the idea. I'm going to test out killing the shuttle into that color. Or sprite. And just see if it looks right. Probably need a bit of debris to make it really look right. We don't have a debris explosion, we just have a fire and smoke explosion. But there's probably two parts to this, like fire and smoke explosion, debris explosion masks the transition from this into this. Then we just get rid of or don't get rid of that. That's kind of all there is to it. The other elements, like if this one has the side doors on it right now, so we put the side doors on it. It has a turret. Ignore the fact that it's red. We'll put a turret on it. But, that's easy. Just check what's on it. Correspondingly put in the destroyed version. The fact that it's red was just to say that this isn't the turret, it's just a picture of a red turret, and when we start the game we spawn in a real turret prefab, just so we don't have to change the turrets on every single prefab because of nested prefabs not being a thing. So that only represents where a turret will spawn. Why it's red. Okie doke. Almost at 2 hours, 2 hour stream. Just take it that we did this on stream, so next time this will have been done and tested. I might show it off, but next Monday will be the next stream, but there won't be one for the Thursday or Monday after that. So then after that we should have back to normal. But so I'll see you next Monday. We will do something. I'll probably already have this done, so we'll see what we do. In terms of streaming XCOM or anything, I'm still kind of waiting for a Long War patch. I'm also just playing other games, trying to catch up a bit with a desktop full of game icons that I haven't gotten around to playing. Some of them won't stream well because I don't have like a second streaming machine. Like I tried streaming Call of Duty one time and it was just a frame rate disaster. So I can't stream anything madly impressive. I can run them fine, but I can't run and stream. At the moment I'm playing Rise of the Tomb Raider and Stellaris a bit. Probably stream Stellaris, but I have no idea what I'm doing yet. So, and I don't think I'll really get into it. I think I'll play a little bit, see what the game's about, but not really play a 20-hour campaign or anything. So I do mean to get back to playing a bit of games on the channel, but there's nothing particularly regular that I'm going to get into. I think the Long War campaign has taken a huge amount of time, stopped me playing a lot of other things, and I've kind of gotten the gist of it now. I would love to finish it, but we've kind of been beaten again. I don't want to start a third one unless they actually mod out that reinforcements thing. So we'll see. I'll announce. Well, you'll see videos for one thing up on the channel, but I'll announce if I'm going to start streaming a different game. For the moment, I'm just kind of waiting. What's coming up that I'm very interested in streaming? I can't remember right now. Something coming out soon. Starpoint Gemini Warlords I might play. I'll probably have to test it first. I don't think it'll tax the machine too much, but AAA, it's not maybe AA kind of. It'll be not insignificant, the performance drain, but we'll see. The less streaming I do, the more evening work I do, and the faster the game progresses, I also feel good about doing that. So streaming the game dev is fine. Streaming games as well and committing to that, it sort of takes time away from game dev sometimes, which is not ideal. Well, sort of is ideal. Depends on your approach to crunch. Either way, I'm sitting in this chair, like, so, whether I'm having fun by making the game or having fun by playing someone else's game, doesn't much difference to me. But the sooner my game's finished, the sooner I can get paid for it. So that's important. Anyway, I haven't had an update in a while, so just wanted to get the thoughts out there. So thanks for watching today. I'll be back on Monday at 3 p.m. Irish time. Then we'll be off then it'll be 10 days. It'll be Thursday week after that. So I'll see you Monday. If you're watching this, please like, comment, subscribe, share, pay money, whatever you like. All those. Thanks. See you next time.